everybody. It's me at a weird time of the day. Yes, it is not morning where I live. It might be morning for some of you, but it is what it is. No joys of sorrow, not two shows in one day. This is one show for today. So if you haven't seen my post on either YouTube or on Twitter or any of the other, I don't know if I put it on, I think I only put it on Twitter. Or did I put it on Twitter? I don't know if I did, but anyway, I have a vehicle issue, and in the meaning that I will not have a vehicle for 4 weeks, or at least one of our vehicles. So, Lady Boomer and I are sharing a vehicle, and I have to drive her to work now on some days, and so my show is going to be when it is, and mostly it'll probably be in the afternoon, my time. If it's not at 10 o'clock Central or 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central, it will be at 3:30 Eastern, 2:30 Central in the afternoon. I don't know why I always say Central. Most of you don't compare yourself to Central Time, but I in Central Time, so that's how I remember it. And so, my show is going to be kind of jumping around a little bit over the next 4 weeks until they put a new engine in my truck, which has cost me a shit ton of money. Oh my God. But I can't buy a new truck because, because you can't get a truck for a decent price. And my truck's in great shape except for the engine. So it's actually much cheaper for me just to replace the damn engine. Cheaper is a relative term, but it is what it is. So feel free to sponsor the show anytime you like today. Anyway, welcome to the morning night. Oh, wait a minute. Well, I'm not going to welcome you yet. I'm just going to play the intro, even though it's not morning. So here, play the intro. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, PDawgKnight. Okay. It's time to stop the music. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live afternoon edition on this Tuesday, the 10th of August, 2021. I am your host, Marty, also known as PDawgKnight on the internet, and welcome to all the people who normally can't see this in the morning that are jumping in today. I'm seeing some names that I don't see as often just because my show is at a time you're probably working, and that's how it works. So anyway, welcome to the show. I'm happy you are here. Let's do a quick rundown of who's in the chat already because there's a bunch of you. 23 people popped in already. That's awesome. First in the chat today is our dear friend Sydney Oberg, who gets the bell. Oh my gosh, that was a weak bell. Let me try that again. There's a good bell for you. And thank you for being here. Oh. Whoa, what is that? I'm hearing music that I don't want to be hearing. There's something weird going on here. What the heck is that? Oh, that's some stuff down here. I see. I got to close that. See, sometimes when you pull up articles, they have these weird pop-ups that mostly they don't pop up, but on some of them, the Associated Press this is Chron.com. I don't know what I think that's Houston Chronicle. Then they just all of a sudden they'll start playing music and it drives me crazy. But anyway, Sydney Oberg, congratulations, you are first in the chat today. Also, good morning to Advocatus Diablo, the Devil's Advocates, Fox P2, Tyler F, Mike Savage, Blarg, Aaron Meredith, Gunfox61, Attack Alpaca, Johnny Blaze, Joys of Sorrow, great to see you here, sir. Nice to have you around again. Good morning, DI Freighter Watcher, Justin Anderson. I already said Attack Alpaca. I did say Attack Alpaca. Also, good morning to Gilded Liberty. Nice to see you again. Bosch Tubes in the house. K Shull, Jim Beam, Jesse Leon, DI Freighter Watcher, James Barber. Is it morning for you, James? You say good morning. I'm glad you're here. I haven't seen your name for a while. Maniac Man's in the house. Somnambule Nation. And that is looks like the entire Jackals Freudstein's here. Good dang afternoon to you too. I see that. So anyway, again, so this edition is because, unfortunately, sharing a vehicle with my wife probably for at least the next 4 to 5 weeks because my truck went kaput. Okay, Faithless, nice to see it back. So I had this. What is that? I had a timing belt issue, and this is the problem with these Ford 5.4 liter engine trucks. And it's just one of those things, man. So I have to replace an engine. And the reason I'm replacing an engine is because you can't find a used pickup that's worth a damn. I mean, you got to spend an arm and a leg even for used pickups. And I know that everything else about my truck it's in great shape. There's almost no rust, which is rare in Minnesota for a 2010, especially for an 11-year-old truck. No rust. The interior is beautiful, and it's just cheaper to put a new engine in it. So that's how it is. So Oregon, yes, Oregon. It's oh my gosh. I'm going to talk about Oregon today. Yes, I am. So Oregon, close enough. Oh yeah, because it's just barely afternoon there. Okay, well I got to talk to you about Oregon. Apparently you're from Oregon, so yeah, I have to talk about Oregon today. So let's do this. The first thing I want to talk about is the biggest news of the day, and that would be I got a link here. Oh, it's a link to my show. Okay, cool. The big news today, obviously, that I would have missed had I done the show in the morning, is that we're going to say a Buh-Bye to someone I didn't think we would saying Buh-Bye to anytime soon. But apparently, the kitchen was getting mighty, mighty warm for Andrew Cuomo. And he is... what do I want to say? I want to say he's a freaking coward. Hello, legit low talker. I see you there. Good morning. Good afternoon. I'm in the point of F him and F anyone around him. But in my mind, the fact that he is resigning for what he is resigning for is getting him off the hook for what he should be going to jail for. Okay, I mentioned this before. I thought for sure that this distraction, these sexual harassment claims, which some are legit, I guess, and we'll find out when we go through some of the criminal complaints and going through some of the evidence that the New York Attorney General has come up with, but it is an absolute distraction from the reason he needs to be investigated and possibly go to jail and possibly have some liability for thousands of unnecessary endings due to the 19. You know what I'm talking about. Because all those old people that his policy ended, unnecessarily, when they knew the most vulnerable people to this 19 were elderly, and they forced people into those homes where elderly live, is criminal. And it's criminal in New Jersey, Phil Murphy, Pennsylvania, Tom Wolf, Michigan, Gretchen Whitmer. Those 4 states in particular forced people with the 19 in the nursing home when they knew there was a vulnerability there to elderly people. They knew that from the beginning. And the fact that they also had all those extra hospital beds they had the ship beds. Hospitals were not getting filled. It's insanity. No, they are bringing him down for this so they don't have to bring him down for the other stuff, it gives me in hopes it will cover anyone else's ass the other stuff would. Yeah, hurt. Oh, I see. I don't disagree with that either. He's getting an easy way out. So anyway, now, I'm a fan of the Ace of Spades, and Ace of Spades, whenever they have a flaming skull on their website, this was their headline this afternoon. Elder killer and serial sexual harasser Andrew Cuomo resigns. Now on to Phil Murphy, Wolf, and Whitmer, and Newsom. Now, Newsom has his own problems. Hello, Infamous One, I see you. Newsom has his own problems, and it's looking like he might be upside down on that recall. But, the way California does recalls, I'm not confident he's actually going to be removed from office, no matter how underwater he is from a polling standpoint. It's California and California politics, although I know the people of California are sick of him too. But anyway, but his speech, summary of the Cuomo presser. I didn't even see it, so I might click it anyway. But here, summary of Cuomo presser. Graduated admissions could have touched, but accidentally. Non-denial denials never crossed the line in my mind. Revenge. My political opponents. Shift blame, society's fault. Minimize, just banter. Repressions, don't remember. Hero, helping by resigning. Yes, he's making himself out to hero. So here we're going to go through the New York Post, and we're going to look at, because, I'd much rather hear the New York Post spin than the New York Times spin, because F the New York Times. So here you go. Here's the editorial immediately from the New York Post. This was at 12:25 p.m., I believe, New York time. It's not me. It's you. Wait, do they have it? Do they have the... Oh, here it is. Here, let me... Here's 50 seconds. Here's 50 seconds. We're going to play this much of it. It's Come on.
The circumstances. The best way I can help now is if I step aside.
Oh, I can help you. I am going to help you. The best way I can help now. See, I'm being benevolent, right? The New York Compost. Yeah. I don't. Yeah, they're not as bad as the Washington Post, though. Come on. The best way I can help now is if I step aside
and let government get back to governing.
Oh.
And therefore, that's what I'll do. Because I work for you.
Oh, not anymore.
And doing the right thing is doing the right thing for you.
Oh, maybe. How about doing the right thing for the people whose parents and grandparents were in some of those nursing homes? That's what I want to hear you do the right thing for. That's the part that you're getting off the hook for by resigning. And the fact that the federal government is kind of said, we're not going to investigate that. And the New York State Attorney General focused on this nonsense, even though it may not be nonsense. If he did this, yeah, good. Go for him for it, but go after him for it. But the other stuff, that's the part that I'm concerned about. But anyway, let's hear this little clip here.
Because as we say, it's not about me.
Oh, it's
about we.
Me. Oh, it's
Kathy Hochul, my lieutenant governor, is smart and competent. This transition must be seamless.
Aww.
We have a lot going on. I'm very worried about the Delta variant, and so should you.
Okay, I'm just going to pause that because I don't care. I don't want to hear the rest of it. Speaking of which, the Delta variant, you know what I figured out today about that? And this is just an aside. They really have no idea who's getting the Delta variant. I'll talk about that later. Anyway, so here's the New York Post. It's not me, it's you. That was Andrew Cuomo's self-serving, tone-deaf resignation Tuesday. Nyakas have always known that he was a hugger and a kisser, but the lines have shifted so suddenly you can't do that anymore, he said with a Mad Men-esque expression of shock. What's a little groping between a boss and his aide? You can't do that anymore? Hello, Amy. Cuomo finally did the right thing, saying he was going to be out of office in 14 days, but despite his pleas of, I accept responsibility, he accepted none at all. He blamed a hot political environment. He blamed his enemies. He blamed Twitter. He claimed holding men to account was unsustainable for society. By the way, I'm trying to figure out which freaking enemies he's talking about. Letitia James, absolute Democratic shill of an ally to anyone Democratic, still went after him. I think she gave him an out against the killing the Mamas. What does Bucky call it? The Mama Massacre. She gave him out. But so the idea that his enemies, and then, oh, wait, the New York State House, the New York, whatever, the Assembly or whatever the hell they call it in New York, Democrats. This is a Democrat-dominated state. Maybe not for long. Who knows? But it's a Democrat. Oh, who am I kidding? It's a Democrat-dominated state. Who the hell there are his enemies? Just curious. Who are these enemies he speaks of? Yes, there was a lot of people, other people yapping about it on Twitter, right? A lot of on the right, left, and center. But I don't think anybody was actually supporting him. Oh, except for the one of the founders of the Me Too movement. She was helping him out. Mima, yeah, like grandmas. Mima, the Mima Massacre. Oh, the grandma and grandpas. We were just calling them the Mimas, yes. M-E-M-A-W, Mima. Yes, the Great Mima Massacre. Anyway, so, yeah, who are these political enemies he's speaking of? Anyway, then he mansplained. Good job, New York Post. Then he mansplained how much he's done for New York, skipping over the nursing home fiasco, the book he forced his staff to work on, the disastrous bills he didn't block. He said it was in the best interest of New York State that he serve, but it was going to cost too much money and take too much effort to impeach him. No, he didn't do anything wrong, and that it would be too much of a distraction to try him for. What? He's just saving the state of New York some money from impeaching him, so he decided he would do the right thing and step down because we're all New Yorkers and we all care about New York and yada 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 yada, bada bada bing bada boom. Shut the fuck up. Anyway, he didn't do anything wrong, but it's that it would be too much of a distraction to try him for it. Anyway, you know me, Cuomo said. Yes, we do. You're the egocentric governor who never accepted any blame, never showed a shred of regret, but attacked all his enemies with a rabid hatred. So anyway, that's the New York Post version. Let me see what else Ace put up here. Let's see. Okay, that was that. But now, but wait, there's more. So the next question. Hello, Zombie. Oh, wait a minute, real quick. Hello, Zombie Teddy. Hello, Assassin of the Gray. Anyone else show up while I was talking? While I was flapping my lips? No, but we've got 20 in the house, 19 likes. Oh my gosh, y'all just pumping that like button. Thank you so much. I was about to just shill just now. I was gonna say hit the like button and share the stream out because I did put it on all 5 of my normal social media places. By the way, if you're not following me on social media sites, just out of curiosity, not that most of you probably are, but if you're not, and if you're on any of the sites, Twitter, Minds, Gab, CloudHub, what's that other one? Parler, or Getter. I'm all 5 at PDawgKnight, right up there. See that right there? At PDawgKnight, right there. Follow me on those, and Instagram, yes, that's Marty, but I don't do anything show related on Instagram. I just put up pictures of stuff that we do in my life, and I'm gonna actually use my Instagram, yes, that Marty site for more for my other channel, Marty's Big Journey. I'll put previews on Instagram and on my Twitter pages. I have a couple. I do have I never use my Yes That Marty Twitter account though. I have a personal account and a PDawgKnight account. But either way, but anyway, if you like seeing pretty things in Minnesota or just cool stuff, that's what I use Instagram for. All right. So who else is here? Someone else showed up. BoschTube. I knew there was someone I didn't say good morning to yet. Good afternoon, actually. All right. So now, do not pay any attention to my terrible decisions that was motivated to stick it to Orange Man bad. That means you aren't a right wing conspiracy theorist, drama queen Cuomo. Yes, exactly. Now, interesting follow-up on Ace, and there's a whole bunch of follow-up about Cuomo and whatnot, but they also asked, and I'll go straight to the Ace, and I'll put this a link to this here. I'm going to make a link to this too for you. If you don't, Ace of Spades is one of my favorite blogs from back in the day when I was blogging, and I'll put a link to this particular post, because we're going to go through this, because there's a whole lot of stuff on here that makes it easy for me to not have to aggregate it. So anyway, the question that comes up now, though, shouldn't CNN be investigating Fredo? It's a good question. Hello, King on Common Law. What's happening? When is he going down for manslaughter? That's what I want. King on Common Law says, when is he going down for manslaughter? I'm going to guess this is going to be the end of that investigation, because they're not investigating it. And I don't know why. At least I know in Michigan, I think the legislature's finally taking up the issue of the nursing homes and how the executive office, the governor's office, has kind of stonewalled them as far as actual numbers. But I gotta say, anyway, let's talk about Fredo though. Let's talk about Ace's take on Fredo here, and he's got, and I'll actually put links to the articles that they mentioned in this post. So, and this is the one reason I like Ace, because he doesn't mince words. He is and plus he has some creative descriptions of people. But anyway, Fredo Cuomo purely coincidentally announced that he was taking a previously unannounced week off on Friday, effective yesterday. This just happens to coincide with Andrew Cuomo's resignation. I'm beginning to wonder which one should actually be Fredo, but I think we already know that Chris Cuomo is Fredo. Fredo Cuomo was named in the AG report as having written false statements for Andrew to issue to the press. Oh! True. He was therefore intimately involved in a scheme to subvert and deceive the press he supposedly works for. Why isn't CNN investigating him? Don't they pretend to be great champions of the press or of the truth? Because, remember, they had made a big deal about the truth when Trump was president, right? So this from the Washington Post. CNN is facing fierce backlash after it emerged star anchor Chris Cuomo was reportedly still advising embattled older brother Andrew Cuomo amid a sexual harassment allegation scandal, with some calling for the network to launch an investigation. The primetime personality was among a handful of people consulting Governor Cuomo as he tried to salvage his career in the wake of last week's bombshell report accusing him of sexually harassing 11 women, the Washington Post revealed on Monday. The retaliation against CNN was swift, with critics declaring it was utter madness that Chris was supposedly still conferring with his brother. I'm editing this as I read. Some went as far as calling for the CNN anchor to be investigated by the network. It comes after reports first emerged in May that Chris had advised his brother and staffers to take a defiant approach as the accusations gained momentum. CNN issued a statement at the time saying Chris would no longer engage in discussions with Governor Cuomo's staffers about the allegations, and Chris declared on the air that he understood how it could be problematic for the network, but I think it should be problematic for him. So anyway, that's from the article. He said he'd stop offering Politico media advice to his scandal-plagued elder-killing brother, but he continued to do so. So Cuomo lied. Hey, as Ace says here, stop the presses. Cuomo lied.
How dare you?
Oh, wait, even better. Where is it? Cuomo lied. Cuomo lied.
Why the fuck you lying?
Cuomo lied.
You're a lying dog-faced pony soldier.
Cuomo lied.
Lies, yeah.
Anyway, Washington Post opinion writer Eric Wemple on Monday called for CNN to commission a report of its own to determine just how its star anchor fit into this sexual harassment pushback effort. This has got to be Chris Cuomo's last day on the job. Come on, writer Jonathan Katz tweeted. Variety editor-at-large Kate Arthur simply tweeted, utter madness. Fox News senior meteorologist Janice Dean said in response to the report, so yeah, this is a problem, CNN, at CNN. This is CNN. Janice Dean, by the way, is one of those people who's been on, she's now she's at Fox. Well, I don't think she was at Fox when Cuomo killed her grandmother. But she, both her, I think, was her grandparents or her parents? I don't know. They were in one of those nursing homes and they both died. And so she has been all over this whole, not just CNN, but Andrew Cuomo tweeting about him constantly. Why are not investigating the Great Meemaw massacre? And so, sure, I'm not surprised she had words. The Washington Post's media critic Eric Wemple, Cuomo's still the primetime anchor. That name is still on that show. He should be fired. Oh, his in-laws. Okay, his in-laws' parents. Okay. Over 15,000 innocent people killed by arrogant, politically motivated decisions. No biggie, but he groped a woman's bottom. This cannot stand. I think he grabbed one of their breasts too. But most of these charges, I think he could have survived most of them. There was a few though that, if they're true, then maybe not. But they have all these women coming out and saying, this and that, and the environment, la. He could have survived that storm. I personally believe this whole controversy was a replacement for the real problem, the Great Meemaw massacre. Again, that is not my original name for it. That is Ranting Monkey and Jack Cochran from Monkey in the Morning. I just so you know, I'm not claiming that as my own. Somebody else came up with that. She has been at Fox News Channel for at least 5 years now. I wasn't aware how long she's been there. Anyway, Washington Post media critic Eric Wemple wrote a column urging an investigation. Quote, more relevant to CNN leadership is the link between the involvement of people such as Chris Cuomo and the miserable work culture of the state's so-called executive chamber. The loyalties of such outside advisors, notes the report, channeled directly to Andrew Cuomo, not to the public interest or the state government, and certainly not to the sexual harassment victims. The dynamic was one of several factors that contributed to creating an environment where the governor's sexually harassing conduct was allowed to flourish and persist, reads the report. Again, that's far more than an optics problem for CNN. The AG report, of course, focuses on Andrew Cuomo's conduct, not Chris Cuomo's. That's why CNN needs to commission a report of its own to determine just how its star anchor fit into this sexual harassment pushback effort. What precisely did he say in the conference calls? Was he aware that the executive chamber had provided false information to the Albany Times-Union as the paper explored the predicament of Trooper Number 1? What role did he play in the governor's denials? Exactly. Look, I don't think he's a media expert. I just think he's one of those pretty talking head guys that they like, and then he didn't like Trump, so that helped a little bit. But I don't think Chris Cuomo's that smart. Look, I will give him this. He's a talented script reader and talker, okay? But I just think he's dumb as a stump. But they like him and they let him get away with this. And I don't know if he's going to get out of this with a job. But him being their top spot primetime anchor with ratings that suck anyway, this might be an opportune time for CNN to make a little change, right? Anyone else think that? I think it's true. All right, let me, now, but it goes beyond that. Ace continues here. According to a reporter who I can't remember now, Chris Cuomo spammed his brother's false denials which he himself co-wrote, to his pals in the media. Given my lazy memory here, take that with a giant grain of salt. I'll keep looking for the source. But if my memory is right, he was acting both as a journalist and a spin doctor, trying to influence journalists simultaneously. Gee, I wonder if Brian Stelter has made note of this. We'll talk about Brian Stelter later. He also got paid off by his brother in VIP COVID treatment. Remember that? Yeah, he got special treatment. They flew him up to wherever he needed to go to get his testing. And remember? Okay, so do you remember when Chris Cuomo made his grand appearance out of the basement, which was bullshit, whatever. He'd already broken the quarantine, but he made his grand appearance out of the basement, right? And I was always curious as to the verbiage he used when he said that he and his wife had both been cleared by the CDC. And at the time, you know, it was still hard to get testing back then, right? Because that was the big thing. Oh, there's not enough testing. We don't have enough tests, blah, 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 blah. But he was, quote, cleared by the CDC and could finally emerge from his basement. Now, it's funny that he said both he and his wife were cleared by the CDC, but he was emerging from the basement supposedly for the first time, which we already knew was a lie because he and his wife and his family all went out to the house they're building in the Hamptons. They're moving from one side of the Hamptons to the other side of the Hamptons, building a brand new house, and they went to go see it, and then he got in an argument with the fat tire bike guy, right? And then the fat tire bike guy gave all the tea, right? He told the whole story that he saw Chris Cuomo and said, "Oh, aren't you Chris Cuomo? I thought you had COVID. I thought you're supposed to be in quarantine." And then Chris Cuomo, in some podcast or something that he was being interviewed in, was talking about, yeah, this, you know, when stupid fat tire bike guy, some stupid asshole in a fat tire bike comes up and harasses your family. Oh, that kind of all fits together with what the guy on the fat tire bike said, right? That you were breaking, what do you call it? Quarantine. But I was curious because he said specifically, we were cleared by the CDC. And then we find out later that somehow Chris Cuomo got flown somewhere to get his test done and got to the front of the line to be tested again. And now it all makes sense because, brother Andy, corrupt asshole, helped get Chris pushed to the front of the line. And a bunch of his friends got pushed to the front of the line, and some of his favorite donors got pushed to the front of the line. So anyway. All right. So anyway, they say he got paid off by his brother's VIP COVID treatment, of course. So how's CNN media watchdog Sad Potato covering this? AKA Brian Stelter. Well, there's some funny about this. Defending his network's abysmal handling of the Cuomo brothers, Brian Stelter argues this has been a conundrum for CNN that has no perfect answer and has no perfect solution. Then he lodged Chris Cuomo for being able to continue to go out and do his show and rake in the ratings. Oh, rake in the ratings? You mean the worst ratings in prime time? So let's listen to the potato and see what he says here.
Now on the Cuomo brothers. Chris Cuomo has a lot to say, but right now he cannot say it. CNN management has made two things clear to him. One, that he can't talk about his brother Andrew Cuomo on TV, and two, that he cannot participate in any more strategy sessions with the governor's aides. So if you're wondering why Chris has remained silent about the scandal, well, that is why. This week I've been doing reporting on the media angle of this Cuomo story, which has meant talking with staffers here at CNN about Chris Cuomo and his one-of-a-kind situation. TV star in primetime, governor's brother at all times. Now, let's just be candid with each other. These staffers
let's be candid. Let's be candid, potato. Let's be candid. Who just came? Hi, Zach Osborne. How you doing? And Seamus Derby. What's up? All right. Let's be candid. Really? Really? I bet, you know what? It's funny because I think he talked for like 2 minutes and then went off on Fox News. Here, hang on.
With are my colleagues, of course, and I assured them they could speak anonymously and candidly.
Oh, his colleagues.
What I found is
why? Why would your colleagues have to speak anonymously? Are they afraid of, are they afraid that Fredo might have some roid rage when he comes back? What's Don Lemon saying about this? There's his buddy. I don't know that they're that type of buddies, but his buddy, Don Lemon. Has Don Lemon said anything yet about Fredo? All right, hang on.
a more complicated story than you might think.
Oh,
this has been a
it's complicated. Yes. An unethical move by Chris Cuomo to help his brother, not only help him as a brother trying to figure out how to spin the BS, but also contacting other news media people and trying to spin it with them too and coming up with a lie to tell. Oh my God. Anyway, what do you say here, Brian?
Conundrum for CNN that has no perfect answer, no perfect solution. Some think CNN.
Well, no, you know what the perfect solution is, Brian Stelter? You know what the really perfect solution might be? Maybe, perhaps, well, sort of, kind of, maybe, they should fire his ass for being an idiot.
And made it worse by letting Chris interview his brother when COVID-19 was ravaging New York. But that was an unprecedented.
But I thought Andrew Cuomo was the hero of New York. I thought he was handling something. He wrote a book about it. In fact, he had a staff help him write a book about it. And he's got $5 million to show for it in advance, even though the book stopped selling as soon as they figured out about the Great Meemaw Massacre. What are you talking about? Oh, my God. Anyway, hello, Straight Sith Male. Good afternoon.
Unprecedented time period. And so is this one. A famous family in the news. A governor who soared to the high.
A famous family who these two idiots are only where they are because their name is Cuomo. And their father was a very powerful man in New York. And so you know what? Wouldn't it be fun? You know what? I didn't even think of this. I just thought of this. Okay. Will Chris Cuomo be fired? I don't know. But okay, here we go in the chat. Here I gotta be I'm gonna be intimate with you here. Chat. And even if you're not in the chat, if you're just watching a replay, you can put it in the comment section. Write a comment in the comment section. And somebody sponsor the show today. I'm gonna have a big fucking bill when I get that truck bill. Anyway, chat. Here's my question. Regardless of what happens to Chris Cuomo, I want you to give me a time frame, either in months or years. Okay, give me a time frame of months or years, regardless of what happens to Chris Cuomo. How long will it be before one of the networks hires Andrew Cuomo as a political analyst? Years and or months. How long before one of the networks, probably CNN maybe, hires Andrew Cuomo as one of their expert analysts? Because they did it with all the CIA guys and FBI guys that, Comey, they hired him for a while, but they noticed he's gone. And they had, what's the other dude? The second in command guy with the glasses. They hired all of them. How long? Okay, I got a 90 days. I got a 5 months. Yeah, give me a number of months or years before they hire Andrew Cuomo. Yeah, Tubin was back within 6 months, 6 months or less, 18 months, 5 weeks. Oh, Cannibalistic Wizard, that who it is. And also James Cowley, good afternoon. I'm just telling you, they're going to do it. I guarantee Andrew Cuomo will be on TV as a political analyst. I would say within a year, but I think some of you are right. I think it might be earlier than that. Oh my goodness. Anyway, where were we with Ding Dong here? Hang on, let me get back here on Twitter. Here we go. Let's finish Ding Dong here. Brian Stelter, 2 months until it blows over. I don't know if it'll blow over that fast because first of all, there is the criminal complaint that I think is going to have to go through the process. MSDNC in 30 days, maybe. Hello, Civic Magic, by the way, 24 hours. I don't know if it'll be 24 hours, but then again, you never know. You never know. Okay. Oh, hey, look at that. Our first sponsor of the day, Cryptic, is in the house. I didn't even see you in the chat. That's because you don't always chat that much, but I appreciate you, sir. And with the most patriotic donation on the history of America, 1776. Thank you, Cryptic.
You are the new Streamlab Superstar sponsor of the day.
And you are that who says, Cryptic, thank you. Governor of New York, Andrew Cuomo, is starring in a new sitcom spinoff. It will be called How I Killed Your Grandmother. Oh, my God. Oh, ouch, that hurts. Thank you, Cryptic, and I'm so glad you're here. I haven't seen you in a while. All right, let's finish here with, we got a couple clips for, let's just go. I might go through all these because it's Brian Stelter, and I'll try not to, I won't talk over him because I don't know if you can understand what he's saying when I do that, and I can't listen to him when I do that, even though he's so predictable. He's going to say, hello, Brent Hayes. Nice to see you. What about the dead grannies? That's what I'm saying. This is a smokescreen for that. And that is going to be like a memory. Nobody in the media is going to talk about it anymore. That's what this is about. This has nothing to do with who he's sexually harassing, in my opinion. We're all wrong. He will appear on MSNBC, and they will tell us he has always worked there and never been governor, and that we are all delusional. Oh, Avocados Dobby. That is awesome. All right, let's finish up with the potato here and see what else he's got to say.
Highest heights last year, now falling to the lowest lows. Self-inflicted wounds. And a brother who just wants to do his job.
How? Oh, my God. Stelter, you are such a shill. A brother who did some unethical shit while doing his job. How about that, potato?
Just wants to anchor his show. But can he? That's the key question.
Yeah.
Well, this week, Chris showed that he can. He tuned out the family drama and led compelling interviews during Cuomo prime time, all while dealing with what has to be one of the
how many times did you bring up DeSantis last week when his brother is the architect of the Great Meemaw Massacre?
Hardest periods of his adult life. Viewers wanted to see him on TV, and let's be honest, this is TV, so that's not a totally irrelevant.
What viewers wanted to see him on TV? If I was viewing CNN, I would have wanted to hear what he had to say about his dumbass brother. But of course, that you don't have. Now look, I understand why Chris Cuomo would not talk about his brother. It'd be a conflict of interest talking about his brother, no matter how he did it. But how come it wasn't a conflict of interest when he was bringing out big fake nose swabs and having him on his show all the time when they thought he was, God's gift to, 19 management? It was unethical then. But since he did it then, why is it unethical now for him not to actually report the news? I understand why they would not have him report news against his brother. But now we know that he's been doing some stupid shit that he shouldn't have been doing from an ethical standpoint. Maybe it's time to have a new show at 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. on This is CNN. Just saying.
Relevant factor. Chris had the highest rated hour on CNN on Tuesday.
Oh, he had the highest rated hour on CNN. I wonder if that's because people wanted to see if he would mention his brother. Also, the highest rated hour on CNN doesn't even beat reruns of Bonanza on the whatever channel. It doesn't beat Nickelodeon. It doesn't beat any of the major news network shows at that hour, or cable news network show. It is far, far, far behind every other show on Fox and most of the shows at NBT. But it's the highest rated hour on CNN, Brian. Yay! Anyway. Oh, I messed that up. So now, did I, is it still? No, I'm, okay, hang on.
It's the key question. Well, this week, Chris used during Cuomo prime time, all while dealing with what has to be one of the hardest periods of his adult life.
Aww.
Viewers wanted to see him on TV, and let's be honest, this is TV, so that's not a totally irrelevant
Did they want
factor.
to see him so bad?
Chris had the highest rated hour on CNN on Tuesday,
the lowest rated hour of cable news.
and again on Thursday.
Oh, on all 3 days on CNN, they have the highest rated CNN show, which is the lowest rated cable news network. Anyway.
And on those shows, Chris made no reference to his brother's troubles, and that is by design. My sources say
he
that
hasn't been
management
allowed to, because it would be unethical, like it was before when he was talking about his brother being so wonderful.
Clear about its position. He is not covering the governor on TV, period. He is not talking about it at all.
You know what's amazing about that, too? Hey, if it's the biggest news story on TV and you're the anchor at the #1 primetime spot on your news network, perhaps it's time to have somebody else do that hour, at least for the time being, because the #1 story of the day on a news network should probably be mentioned by your primetime hottest spot anchor. Just saying. Me TV, that's it. I love that shit. Yeah, they have Bonanza, and they got like, what was the other day I saw there on the other day? They had the Rifleman, I think, too, on that Me TV. Hello, Duck Dog, by the way. All right, what else do you say here?
And you can believe me, I tried. I wanted an interview, and I was turned down.
Oh, they got turned down by your own anchor on another show. So then, of course, Stelter does what he does best, and he tries to make it all about Fox News.
Now, I personally believe he should speak out when the time is right. Chris should share his point of view. He's a part of the story.
Yeah, sure.
The AG's report confirms that Chris was actively talking with the governor's aides about how to handle.
He's part of the story. Yeah, I'll say he's part of the story. He's pretty intimately involved in the story.
All the accusations of harassment earlier this year. CNN management said back in May that Chris crossed a line by doing that, and he apologized to colleagues for it.
Oh, he apologized. He apologized. Good for him. Good for him. Pat him on the back. Here, we'll give you a little clap. There you go. He apologized. Yay. Good for Chris Cuomo.
Some critics said he should have been suspended or even fired. But I'm going to level with you.
Right?
Telling a well-off host to hang out by the pool for a couple of weeks is not a real punishment. It's BS when Fox sends a host off on vacation during a scandal.
Oh, wait. Whoa. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. What is Fredo doing at this very moment? What is he doing at this very moment? An unannounced, unplanned vacation just happened to coincide with the day your brother resigns? What? But it's I want to hear that again. Hang on.
It's BS when Fox sends a host off on vacation during a scandal.
Oh my God. Oh my gosh. Oh my God. He's on, and Fredo's on vacation right now in the middle of the scandal. Anyway.
Scolding a host in public, saying what they did was inappropriate. That is an actual punishment.
Oh, here. Going on vacation during a scandal like Chris Cuomo's doing right now, that's not a punishment. You must scold him in public. You must scold him. Or just do what you do with Jeffrey Toobin. Just suspend him for 6 months or 2 weeks. But isn't he? I could have sworn he's freaking on vacation right now. But anyway.
Again, I think Chris should be asked about all this. He should be grilled like anyone else.
Oh, yes.
That's what numerous staffers at CNN said to me this week.
Get him on your show, Brian.
On the outside.
Oh, wait, he won't go on your show because you're a potato.
Some of the same critics who slammed him for interviewing his brother about COVID are knocking him now for staying silent. But, tune out that bad faith nonsense.
Is it bad faith, Chris? Oh, my God. We're going to keep... Chris, Brian Stelter, is it bad faith? It's bad faith nonsense? What are you talking about? Oh my God, what an ass. Okay, let's stick with Brian Stelter here.
Here's the logic on the part of management, and you can decide if you agree or you disagree with it. The logic on the part of management is that whatever Chris says about the allegations against his brother will be picked apart. He will be accused.
Yes, it should be. Wouldn't you expect it to be picked apart? Shouldn't you be the one, Brian Stelter, who's picking apart as a media critic for CNN, for This is CNN, the most trusted name in news? Why aren't you asking those tough questions, potato? Just trying to figure this out. Shouldn't he be grilled or at least pilloried in the media on a show about how the press covers things on This is CNN, reliable sources? Oh my God.
Accused of either using his platform to spin for his family, or he'll be accused of betraying his brother. The logic is that he should just...
What if he just tells the truth? Consequences be damned. Or, I got an idea. You could do what your brother did and resign. Because Brian Stelter is not going to ask you the tough questions. I guarantee it. In fact, no one had seen it. Do you think if he comes back, okay, he comes back to his 8 o'clock show, right? Chris Cuomo has a triumphant return after his very conveniently timed vacation, right? And he comes back to CNN. And now, often, at the end of Chris Cuomo's show and before Don Lemon's show, Don Lemon and Chris Cuomo usually have this little weird boy-on-boy thing they do, okay? They have their little boy-on-boy banter, right? And I wonder, when Chris Cuomo returns, do you think Don Lemon will ask Chris any tough questions? Because Don Lemon is, between Chris and Don, sometimes there is some tough love from Don Lemon, right? And I just wonder, and not that kind of tough love, although that might be happening too, but there might be some, I didn't say rough love, I said tough love. Anyway, there might be an uncomfortable question from Don Lemon to Chris Cuomo, because every once in a while they have little disagreements. I mean, genuine, not just for show. Because, Chris tries to, okay, for lack of a better term, white-splain things to Don Lemon, and then Don Lemon tries to black-splain things to him, or gay-splain, or whatever he does. They have their little occasional, they have their occasional little spat, but then they kiss and make up. Not literally, to my knowledge, but anyway, do you think Don Lemon will decide to ask any uncomfortable questions to Chris Cuomo? I'm going to guess that This is CNN will not allow it. It's going to be interesting to see how Chris Cuomo survives this also.
Stay out of it. He should do the job that the viewers want him to do.
Oh, I think some of the viewers might just say the job that the viewers want him to do might be to leave the network. I think some of the viewers are probably saying, FTG. And I don't mean like viewers who like me, but viewers who actually like Chris Cuomo might just be like, they just might be sick of all this now. So I don't know how many of the. I'm curious if his rating. Well, the problem is, anytime you have a scandal like this, there can be a temporary, like Streisand effect bump in ratings. But will the loyal viewers of CNN after this scandal, will they accept anything from Fredo? I'm just curious. Anyway.
Plus, CNN is so much bigger than any one anchor. What really matters most is how CNN as a global news outlet covers the governor's alleged crimes. Now, I asked around about this all week, and I found absolutely no sign that Chris having a show at 9 affects the rest of the day.
Really?
If anything, it's the opposite. Some staffers have speculated that the coverage has been extra tough on CNN because of the scrutiny.
What are you talking about? I am not. Now, maybe I missed something and I don't watch CNN that often, but usually, there's clips on YouTube and stuff. And if the people at CNN were actually tough about this whole scandal, would other anchors be covering Chris Cuomo's involvement in it? I don't know that I've seen that. And, they may have given the facts, but have they given opinions about Andrew Cuomo? Or are they more likely to kind of give it the kid glove treatment because one of their prime time A spot anchor is the brother of the governor? You don't think it's... Yes, exactly, Amy. You don't think CNN has given this kind of a kid glove treatment, a very rudimentary, well, we'll mention it, but we're not going to talk too much about it? I'm curious what their network coverage is going to be like today, though. But give me a break. Come on.
I think CNN's coverage has been scathing. It has been appropriately in-depth because this is one of the governors of... This is the governor of...
Really? How much does the coverage mention Fredo? If it's been scathing. Scathing, he says. Scathing?
One of the largest states in the country in the middle of a political firestorm.
Really?
So,
whoa, wait. Let me back up a minute. Has it been scathing? That's a good... that is good. Anyone watch CNN here? I know that's a silly question. No, it would be scathing if a single anchor at CNN has treated this as a smokescreen for the governor's real problems. How much do you think they've talked about some of the other governor's other problems that are coinciding with this particular, I don't want to say fabricated scandal, but it's certainly a convenient scandal. Hello, Renee Miat. How you doing? Yeah, I don't know about that there, potato.
So I want you all to know, it's not like Chris is walking around the New York Bureau newsroom hanging out with the reporters who are covering the story. He works several floors away. He doesn't have that kind of interaction.
Yes, he's over in his own private Idaho. He's living in his own private Idaho. He's living in his private Idaho.
Still, there is an optics problem. And that's why I'm dedicating so much time to this here on the show.
Really?
This entire story looks awkward for CNN. As one staffer said to me, the lines are just too blurred when it comes to Chris. Some colleagues are ticked off at him.
Oh, good.
But lots of CNNers also expressed support for him and respect for his anchoring skills. And look, differences of opinion.
His anchoring skills. He could read a fucking teleprompter. Good for him.
Are a good thing. It is a good thing that people have different opinions and they're talking about it and it's being discussed. The Society of Professional Journalists Code of Ethics instructs journalists to avoid conflicts of interest, real or perceived, and to disclose unavoidable conflicts.
Oh, wow. They could have used that a year ago. They could have used that a year ago when he was interviewing his own brother every other night on CNN. And they were chuckling it up making fun of his brother's big nose. God.
Clearly, family is unavoidable. And in this case, the conflict is disclosed right in the show's name, Cuomo Primetime. So that's not really the issue.
No, it's not.
The issue is whether Chris can continue to do his job, continue to be trusted by the audience.
Well, why would they start now?
The leaders of CNN think so. But ultimately, that's up to you. That's up to the people who tune in or don't.
Well, like I said, you are going to get a Streisand effect for a while. I don't know how long it'll last, though. It's interesting. Okay, one more. Oh, my gosh, the Newsbusters, yeah. Let's do one more, and since there's one more here, we'll move on to something else.
Trust in this business is earned every day.
Yeah.
Inch by inch, minute by minute, show by show.
Yeah. So that's why Brian Stelter's ratings suck. Oh, Brian, you one-trick pony.
So here's one thing I know for sure.
Yeah, what do you know, Brian?
Chris is going to have a surreal birthday on Monday. He always takes his birthday off.
Oh, this is from Saturday.
He always takes it off work. But this year he's going to be absent while his brother is fighting for his political life.
Well, convenient. So convenient that he's on vacation when his brother resigns. How about you? Hello, check your logic.
Trying to stop this impeachment train. And bad faith actors are going to say Chris has been canceled or something when they don't see him on air on Monday.
Oh, is that what they're going to say, Brian? Or are they going to say what I just said? Because on Tuesday, when his brother resigned, how convenient that he just happens to take this unannounced vacation.
Don't believe it.
Don't believe it.
I checked with sources on his staff, and they confirmed that he booked this time off months ago.
Oh, okay.
It is an actual vacation.
Okay.
But it's coming at a really, really difficult time for Chris
Really convenient
personally.
time.
And that's something that many sources brought up to me.
You know, I got a question, okay? So let's say we had a scandal where, let's say Sean Hannity's brother was the governor of Montana, okay? And as the brother of the governor of Montana, who now this is a philosophical question. This is not fact question, but let's say that Governor Hannity of Montana was caught castrating prize bulls in some ranches out in Montana, and when he wasn't supposed of bulls he didn't own. He's out there castrating cows because he was harvesting Rocky Mountain oysters, right? And but he was doing it on cows and on bulls he did not own. And so then it became a scandal in the state of Montana, and the legislature is about to impeach him because he's taking property that is not his, and his brother was advising him, well, just say you didn't do it, and yada yada yada. And so then as the legislature gets together to say, hey, you can't be castrating bulls that don't belong to you, and your brother was here advising you to lie about it, and so we're probably going to impeach you. And then all of a sudden Sean Hannity decides, he takes a convenient vacation during his birthday. Do you think that this line right here would be uttered from Brian Stelter's mouth?
That's something that many sources brought up to me. Whether they agree or disagree with management's decision, a lot of people feel a lot of sympathy for him. Oh. I think that's significant that you all should know.
Because I would think there would be a whole lot of people who would feel sympathy for Sean Hannity and Governor Hannity. Would Brian Stelter care about that? Would that be a big factor in Brian Stelter's reporting on Governor Hannity castrating bulls that did not belong to him, trying to harvest some Rocky Mountain oysters? I don't think so.
And as for vacation, it seems like everyone could want to use one of those.
Oh, yes, everyone, including Brian Stelter. Maybe Brian Stelter should go on vacation, and Don Lemon should go on vacation, and Anderson Cooper should go on vacation, and Wolf Blitzer should go on vacation, and just everybody at CNN needs to go on vacation because they need to shut that channel down. But anyway...
Now our coverage of this story continues in the Nightly Reliable Sources newsletter. You can sign up for free right now at reliablesources.com.
Okay, I don't care. But a lot of people have sympathy for him. That's fantastic. Brian Stelter, I'm so glad that people have sympathy for him, and I just think that maybe we should all just give him a break and leave him alone and let him think about this in solitude and maybe have a cup of hot cocoa and whatever else that they do in that place over there. So anyway, back to the ace here. So what? Katie Great, especially fond of Tater's claim that Cuomo could not possibly influence CNN's coverage of his brother. They had no influence of any of CNN's coverage of his brother. No, their prime time, hot, the golden spot, 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Central anchor. No way that their coverage of Andrew Cuomo would be at all influenced by their number one primetime anchor at all. No one would just, there'd be no influence whatsoever. It's almost as though CNN's media watchdog is just listing a series of excuses why he's too busy to watchdog the media this week. Yeah, good point there, Ace. Also, Valerie Jarrett kept Cuomo's secret for a decade. Oh, really? But now that he's resigning and can no longer help the Democrat crime family, she dishes dirt to distance herself from the man she once pumped for president. What? You know who Valerie Jarrett is, so Obama's top, advisor, whatever. Here's from, what's this from? I'll open this one too, even though it won't be, this is from, the Free Beacon. Top Obama advisor Valerie Jarrett claims she raised concerns about Governor Andrew Cuomo's efforts to influence a federal investigation in 2014. Did he? She did? Why is she just telling this now? That was 6 years ago. In the years since that encounter, she couldn't stop praising him. Jarrett told the New Yorker's Ronan Farrow in a report published Tuesday that Cuomo called her in April 2014 to complain about then U.S. Attorney Preet Bharara, who was investigating Cuomo's shuttering of an investigation into public corruption at the New York State House. Jarrett said that while Cuomo did not explicitly ask her to shut down the probe, she was so alarmed by his ranting that she reported it to White House lawyers who deemed the call highly inappropriate. Well, how about that? Highly inappropriate. Anyway, a Justice Department official said that Cuomo was trying to exert political pressure on the investigation. That sounds familiar. Hello, Cynic. How you doing? Investigation. A Justice Department official said Cuomo was trying to exert public pressure on the investigation. According to the New Yorker, Cuomo resigned as governor on Tuesday after the New York Attorney General found he sexually harassed 11 men. No. Now that they got wrong. Who wrote this? The Free Beacon? Cuomo resigned as governor on Tuesday after the New York Attorney General found he sexually harassed 11 men. No, he did not. Because she found that last week. And he did not resign when she found that. Okay, he resigned after two things. One, there was talk of impeachment in the New York State House, and many of his Democratic allies in the State House, including the Speaker of the House and the New York Senate, said that they are going forward with that particular procedure, and he didn't feel like he has any Cuomo's basically pushed out. And then also, because now there are criminal complaints filed against him in a couple counties. It wasn't after the investigation from the Attorney General. He said it was all untrue. He did not resign after that. So let's get it straight, Free Beacon. Anyway, Jarrett repeatedly praised Cuomo in the years since the phone call. She compared him favorably last year with President Donald Trump and urged other governors to follow Cuomo's lead in response to the 19, which he failed miserably, by the way. Anyone else think New York Governor Cuomo is behaving a lot more presidential than the president? Jarrett wrote. Anyway. Oh, by the way, it's not a cult. Headline in the Bulwark. So the Bulwark is basically all the Never Trump people who have their own publication now. Here's the headline from the Bulwark. Andrew Cuomo resigned because the Democrats aren't a cult. Really? Is that like a Republicans pounce headline? I don't know. More follow below, starting with another low-light reel of the Cuomo sexuals, thanks to Callisto, Glenn Greenwald. Few things are more repulsive in liberal discourse right now than the Andrew Cuomo saga. They're all now lamenting that he's everything they claim Trump was, as if they just found out. They always knew it, yet they all supported and championed this dynastic heir for decades. So, yeah, Pelosi endorsed her. Hillary Clinton endorsed Cuomo. Kirsten Gillibrand, Miss Me Too herself, endorsed him. The New York Times endorsed him. Like his brother Chris Cuomo, Andrew Cuomo has a career for only one reason. His daddy was Mario Cuomo. He's always been an authoritarian, bully, sleazy scumbag, the kind that comes from a long life entitlement. Yet Clinton put him in his cabinet, and Dems cheered him for years. Yes, they did. Democrats did not discover a single thing about Andrew Cuomo they haven't already known about him. Not a thing. All that's changed is too much proof finally seeped out to the public and made the ongoing support for him unsustainable, so that they're all pretending to be horrified. As many pointed out, the Andrew Cuomo dynamic is extremely similar to Harvey Weinstein. Powerful Democrats knew for years, like everyone in Hollywood, what Weinstein was. It was only once the public found out did it become necessary to feign horror as a distance. Right, Valerie Jarrett? For another cool story, Union Pacific steam engine Big Boy 40414. A 10-state tour. Big Boy is the largest steam locomotives ever built during the 1940s. Most served until the 1960s. Wow, that would be cool to see. Yeah, they're like those are huge. Those huge Big Boys. That'd be cool to see. I'll check that out. How did the liberal sector of corporate media talk about Andrew Cuomo over the last year, even while everyone knew exactly what he is and always was? Here's the tape. Okay, here's the highlight reel of, I'm going to finish up on Andrew Cuomo with this highlight reel. You can read, there's more down here of different people basically filleting, not inflating or flating, but filleting Andrew Cuomo. But here's the highlight reel.
David, we're standing by for Governor Cuomo's press conference, his daily briefing. How would you contrast Cuomo and President Trump's handling of the crisis?
Oh,
truth versus mendacity.
Governor Cuomo,
nice.
Out there day after day after day, everything Trump isn't. Honest, direct,
yes,
brave.
He's so
real
brave.
Leadership of the kind the president of the United States should have provided.
Governor Cuomo is clearly living in a totally different reality, the actual one, than the president of the United States.
Governor Cuomo has become a national leader.
For a lot of people, Andrew Cuomo has become the leader of the Democratic Party.
He is conveying incredible strength.
You spoke to National Guard troops today in a stirring speech that, if I wasn't listening carefully, I thought you were sending soldiers off to war.
This has been a remarkable show of leadership by Governor Cuomo in recent days.
He was sending Mimas off to die. Sorry, I should. He was sending someone off to war. It was just, someone, not other people's kids off to die, other people's Mimas off to die.
He's providing hope, but not false hope.
Governor Cuomo, I think, is one of the heroes on the front lines.
With all of this adulation that you're getting for doing your job, are you thinking about running for president?
Andrew Cuomo, who has a daily television show.
Wait. Who was that guy? Who the hell was that? Oh, it's Fredo. I'm just kidding. I knew who it was.
Andrew Cuomo, who has a daily television show now and has become in some ways the shadow president.
Maybe Trump is just a little bit mad that Governor Cuomo has become a kind of acting president.
Dealing with hardship actually makes you stronger.
Yes.
That's what Governor Cuomo said earlier today. That's what I'm going to go teach my kids right now at home.
Oh, about leadership via Andrew Cuomo. Make sure you get accurate nursing home numbers, okay? All right. So I basically, obviously, have let the Andrew Cuomo saga dominate this show. But I did want to talk about one other thing. I'll check for that train story afterwards and maybe bring it on tomorrow. Gunfox, thank you very much. I appreciate that. But this is the other story that I want to talk about, because this is one that pisses me off, and I know that what the hell happened here. No, don't do that. Where'd my story go? Okay, all right, here we go. This one really pisses me off. By the way, I did leave the Houston Chronicle story. It'll be in the links below of him resigning. It gave some live updates and things like that. So if you want to have a more timeline style story about that, you can find that in the link after the show. I'll put it in the news link. Here's the story that just chapped my ass today. Or was it yesterday? Well, it was yesterday. It's actually yesterday, but God, them and their freaking pop-ups drives me insane. Oh, it's a subscriber exclusive story. Well, here, I can fix that right now. Hang on a second. Hang on. I didn't know it was subscriber exclusive. So we'll use the archive here. This story out of Oregon, and I know I have some watchers from Oregon who I'm curious about this particular story. But this one has me fuming. In Oregon, the good governor there, Kate Brown, signed a law to allow Oregon students to graduate without proving they can write or do math. She doesn't want to talk about it. Now, interesting, because this is the Oregonian, a faithfully Democrat-leaning newspaper in, I believe, in Portland or whatever. It's the main newspaper in Oregon. The fact that this line that they added at the end of this headline really makes me think they don't even support this bullshit. But this is something that the legislature did. Let's go into this article, because this is insanity. And well, I'll tell you in a minute. Well, let's just put it this way. They talk about systemic racism. This might be, I know what their intentions are, but this may be one of the most racist things I've ever seen in my lifetime. Because I'm the last of the boomers. I kind of missed all that stuff. Just barely. I missed all the real, that when racism was, and I didn't live in the South either, so I didn't have that. I grew up in the Midwest or up, plain states, and it wasn't nearly anything like what it could have been. I didn't live in any of those states that had those stupid laws. But this, in my lifetime, is one of those things where I go, what the actual hell are you thinking here? So here we go. For the next 5 years, an Oregon high school diploma will be no guarantee that the student who earned it can read, write, or do math at a high school level. Now, before I even go on, what the hell is that diploma for then? Because right now, if the next 5 years, it may as well just be for wiping your hind parts after a good dump. Governor Kate Brown had demurred earlier this summer regarding whether she supported the plan passed by the legislature to drop the requirement that students demonstrate that they have achieved those essential skills. Read, write, or do math at a high school level. They don't have to prove that, have any proficiency. But on July 14th, the governor signed Senate Bill 744 into law. Through a spokesman, the governor declined again Friday to comment on the law and why she supported suspending the proficiency requirements. Brown's decision was not public until recently because her office did not hold a signing ceremony or issue a press release, and the fact that the governor signed the bill was not entered into the legislative database until July 29th. That's 15 days after she signed it. A departure from the normal practice of updating the public database the same day the bill is signed. So just like 11 days ago, 12 days ago, they finally updated the legislative record. The Oregonian, Oregon Live, asked the governor's office when Brown's staff notified the legislature that she had signed the bill. Charles Boyle, the governor's deputy communications director, said the governor's staff notified the legislative staff the same day the governor signed the bill. Oh, so they all knew. They all knew that she signed it, but well, there's more. Boyle said in an emailed statement that suspending the reading, writing, and math proficiency requirements while the state develops new graduation standards will benefit, quote, Oregon's Black, Latino, Latina, Latinx, Indigenous, Asian, Pacific Islander, tribal, and students of color. What? So the new graduation standards will benefit every what they seem as race and or what do they call it? Heritage? What do they call it when they because they don't call Hispanics Latino, Latinx. That's not race. They call that whatever the hell they call it. So everybody but the white kids. It should benefit everybody but the white kids. Okay. Well, first of all, okay, so suspending. Now here, let me read that sentence again because they're not talking about the new graduation standards. What they're saying is that suspending the reading, writing, and math proficiency requirements while the state develops new graduation standards will benefit Oregon's Black, Latino, Latina, Latinx, Indigenous, Asian, Pacific Islander, tribal, and students of color. Ding, faithless. So minorities are too dumb to be able to do that shit. Excuse me? Now, the other part of this I found very interesting, too. So they list Black, Latino, Latinx, Indigenous, and Asian, Pacific Islander, tribal, and students. Wait, whoa. Let me back up a minute. Let me back up a minute. It will, again, they're talking about who this will benefit. How's it going to benefit the Asian students? I mean, I don't mean to make a stereotype, but didn't the Asian students tend to do better than even the white students? I mean, in as an aggregate, not that being racist, because not every Asian student is smart, but a lot of them are, and in general, culturally, they tend to do better. How does this benefit anybody? First of all, the biggest bigotry on no expectations. Ain't that the truth? This is and I when I saw this, where did I saw this before? And some of you saw I tweeted about it because you saw that I did. When I said I saw this, apparently the governor of Oregon and the legislatures thinks only white people can read, write, and do math well enough to show proficiency. And there is a word for that. Now, some of you are trying to figure out what word I was thinking of. I'm just going to tell you, it's fucking racist. It's racist as hell to think that you can't have proficiency in those things because you are Black, Latino, Latinx, Indigenous, Asian, Pacific Islander, tribal, and students of color. By the way, all students are students of color. As Jericho Green would say, if your skin color is in the crayon box, you are a color. Now, it continues. Leaders from those communities have advocated time and again for equitable graduation standard. What the equitable graduation standard? So just everybody can graduate? Because that's what equitable means. When they say equity, remember what I say all the time? If you hear the word equity, run away. Because there is no such thing as equity. Okay? Not in the way they're using the term. They're saying that everyone should get the same results. Well, not everyone gets the same results. Let's just stick that into your fucking brain, that not everyone gets the same results. However, you certainly should expect a student who has a high school diploma to be able to write, read, and do some sort of math at a high school proficient level. I don't necessarily think they have to get to algebra, but they should be able to do some complex multiplication and division. Okay, something you should look. If I'm an employer and I'm saying, oh yeah, this kid, do something at my counter where they have to write down some shit, they should be able to write down some shit, or at least type it in a legible way that people can understand. The minimum requirements, they're not even going to have the minimum requirements. Do not show that they can have proficiency in reading, writing, and math. That's about all you should come out of high school with. And although I think they also should have some life skills, like in how to, the beginners of how to do taxes, and, maybe how to fix a toilet, bobber thing or something. There should be some. I wish they had some practical life skills stuff, but you know what I mean? Or even some financial literacy, but that's a whole nother story. But how does this benefit Black, Latino, Latina, Latinx, Indigenous, Asian, Pacific Islander, tribal, and students of color, not the white kids? How does it benefit anybody to not have them be able to be proficient in any of those things? Now, there's certainly now, if I was a parent, would I be at the legislature immediately when they were talking about this bullshit, or at the school boards or whatever? How? Anyway, let me. This story pisses me off to no end. And they say leaders from those communities have advocated time and time again for equitable graduation standards, along with expanded learning opportunities and supports. Gee, almost sounds like the parents of those communities want their kids to be proficient in reading, writing, and math requirements. How does this help them? Lawmakers and the governor did not pass any major expansion of learning opportunities or supports for Black, Indigenous, and students of color during this year's legislative session. Why do you need learning opportunities or supports for Black, Indigenous, and students of color? How about you? Because are there not any? Do none of the white kids fail in Oregon? Is it like just only the Black, Indigenous, students of color? Or should they have expansion of learning opportunities and supports for kids who don't show proficiency in reading, writing, and math? I don't think the color matters. Now, if there are more Black and Indigenous and students of color in that category, fine. Yes, find a way to help them. But why are we? Oh my God, it gives me a headache. Why? Anyway, this article is kind of long, and I want to go through most of it, and then I got to go pick up Lady Boomer. The requirement that students demonstrate freshman to sophomore level skills in reading, writing, and particularly math led many high schools to create workshop-style courses to help students strengthen their skill and create evidence of mastery. Good! That's great! Get the kids who are having trouble into those courses. Fan-fucking-tastic. Keep it up. Most of those courses... Oh no! Most of those courses have been discontinued since the skills requirement was paused during the pandemic before lawmakers killed it entirely. Well, maybe we should bring them back. And why would they kill them during the pandemic? Just because the kids have to learn and look at their computer screen and whatever doesn't mean they don't need to learn that shit. I'm swearing a lot in this one. I'm sorry. This one gets me. Why were the skills requirements paused? They should have never been paused. You needed to find out a way to continue those courses and or skill requirements, because now you have a whole set of kids who probably, oh God, you have a whole set of kids who are not going to be able to do that because you paused it. And oh my God. And then they killed it entirely? Are you kidding me? That's what they need. Democrats in the legislature overwhelmingly supported ending the long-time proficiency requirement, while Republicans criticized it as lowering of academic standards. Yes, it is. And you shouldn't. You should, in fact, guess what? Sometimes, now hear me out. Hear me out on this concept. Hear me out. Sometimes, rather than lowering standards, if you slightly raise the standards, there are a lot of kids who would live up to the challenge. And even, you know that kind of like that, if you shoot for the stars, you may not make it, but you might get to the moon. Ever hear that? I know I paraphrase, and I don't have the quote exactly, but maybe instead of lowering the standards, incrementally raise them and get kids to try to live up to even to a higher standard. And then maybe they'll at least end up being proficient in high school level reading, writing, and math. What a fucking concept. What a concept. It's funny because I've seen school reading lists from the 30s and earlier, you go back and you look at, or the 50s, man, the things the kids had to read. And I'm like, holy shit. My 80s books were really easy compared to that. And I'm thinking, God, they're just going to dumb this down so that all they have to do is be able to read Dr. Seuss, except Dr. Seuss is a racist, so they're not even going to have to read fucking Dr. Seuss. Democrats in the legislature, a couple lawmakers cross party lines in the votes. Really? I want to know which way they cross party lines. I want to know if there are Democrats who cross the party lines to vote against this bullshit with the Republicans, or if there were Republicans who crossed the line to vote for this bullshit. And I want to get rid of those Republicans, and I want to say those Democrats. Here, I would do this. Yeah, baby. Proponents said the state needed to pause Oregon's high school graduation requirements in place since 2009, but already suspended during the pandemic until at least 2024 graduates in order for leaders to re-examine its graduation requirements. Recommendations for new standards are due on the Legislative Oregon Board of Education by September 2022. So you're going to lose at least 1 year. Good God. And but they're suspended until 2024. So here's the thing. So they're not going to implement any new standards, even if they come up with them by September 2022. They're not going to implement them until 2025. However, since Oregon education officials have long insisted they would not impose new graduation requirements on students who have already begun high school, new requirements, will not take effect until the class of 2027. Fan-freaking-tastic. At the earliest. That means at least 5 more classes could be expected to graduate without needing to demonstrate proficiency in math and writing. Y'all are nuts. And guess what? this is going to sound, I don't know if it's, what's a good, is it going to sound racist of me? I don't know. Fucking white liberals, man. White women liberals. This sounds like something like, oh, we just need to help them. This is the way we can help them. We are going to save them by just giving them a high school diploma without any expectations. They should just be able to get through high school. It doesn't matter. They'll be just fine. As long as they have a high school diploma, you can just say they have a high school diploma. I know this sounds like Brian Stelter, but still. As long as they have a high school diploma, then they'll be okay in life. Gee, I wonder if they're going to... Maybe they can apply to Harvard with a Oregon high school diploma. Okay, I'm gonna just tell you right now. Okay, some of these kids, they're gonna get their high school diploma in the state of Oregon, and when especially if they are what are the categories that I want to say everything but white, but if they're Black, Latino, Latinx, Indigenous, Asian, Pacific Islander, tribal, or student of color, and they tell you the high school diploma and they're from the state of Oregon, I'm gonna say. Really? Really? You're Oregon? You look, you're kind of dark skin there. And you're from Oregon and you graduated in 2026? Yeah, no thanks. I'll try somebody else. Anyway, hello, Spud Gun. Okay. Where are we at here? Much of the criticism of graduation requirements was targeted at standardized tests. Yes, see, us black folk are just too stupid to take them damn standardized tests. I ain't taking no standardized test. Yet Oregon, like many other states, did not require students to pass a particular standardized test or any test at all. Students could demonstrate their ability to use English and do math via about 5 different tests or by completing an in-depth classroom project judged by their own teacher. So they had multiple ways to determine if they were proficient in math, writing, and reading. It wasn't a standardized test thing. So what was their excuse? Good God. A variety of factors appear to have led to the lack of transparency around the governor's bill for signing decisions. Yeah, she didn't want to let anyone know she's signing this bullshit, especially parents. I swear to God, this would be an excuse for a major parent revolt in Oregon. I'm just saying. I am just saying. I wonder if the private schools have to do this way too, or if it's just strictly the public schools. I don't know. Well, Oregon graduation requirement. I don't know. Staff in the Secretary of State Senate's office are responsible for updating the legislative database when the governor signs a Senate bill. Secretary of State Lori Brocker said the key staffer who deals with the governor's office was experiencing medical issues during the 15-day period between when Brown signed Senate Bill 744 and the public database was updated to reflect that. Gee, do they only have one staffer who does that? If she was having medical problems, was there anybody in the entire state who could possibly cover for her while she was having her medical issues? That's just a bullshit excuse. Still, a handful of bills that the governor signed into law on July 19th, including a bill to create a training program for child care and preschool providers aimed at reducing suspensions and expulsions for very young children, were updated in the legislative database the same day she signed them, and email notifications were sent out immediately to people who signed up to track the bills. So they lied their asses off. No notification ever went out regarding the governor's signing of the graduation bill. That was because by the time the legislative staff belatedly entered the information into the bill database on July 29th, the software vendor had shut off bill updates to members of the media and the public who had requested them. How convenient! They cut it off because of a July 21 system malfunction, said Legislative Information Services Systems architect Bill Sweeney. My God. Are you kidding me? I'm saying, how freaking racist is that? It's funny because they say, okay, again, I go through the list because it's basically anybody but the white kids. This is supposed to benefit anybody but the white kids, which I don't understand how it would benefit anybody. I don't understand, or even imagine. I've got to figure there are a few dumb white kids, right? There's always are. I know why there are some dumb white kids in my high school. Okay, I know guys. I know. In fact, I can think of somebody who had to go to summer school and to another semester of high school just to graduate because they had to take some other classes. But I'm just saying, it will benefit Oregon's Black, Latinx. Stop saying fucking Latinx too. Okay, I'm just reading it from here, but it's not Latino people. Latin people don't want to hear that Latinx shit. Okay, stop fucking with stop culturally appropriating their language. Okay, stop that shit. Indigenous, Asian, Pacific Islander, tribal, and students of color. So basically, it's a laundry list of everyone but the white kids. This is supposed to benefit everyone but the white kids. This kind of shit is systemic racism. Okay? You're lowering standards for people of color is your phrase. In this case, every person of color. It doesn't help anybody. You are better off raising standards and trying to get kids to live up to the higher standards. Every time you lower the standards, you lower the you know how the rising sea raises all boats? You're lowering the sea. And pretty soon, not a single one of those boats are going to float because they won't have anything to float on. They will have no foundation or water to float on. You're building houses on shifting sand that have no foundational, place to stand. It's cultural colonization. Yeah, exactly. Latinx. Gray, come on, man. What?
Come on, man.
This is embarrassing. And if this is how if this idea, which I'm sure that somebody in California probably does this already, and if this idea catches on in education, God help us. God help this nation, right? But you will look, and it's funny they include the Asians there, because traditionally, as we know, Asians, for whatever reason, if it's a culture thing or whatever, in general, tend to do better than even the white kids. And that's why, they're not letting as many Asians to Harvard anymore. But it's just, this is, this kind of shit just makes me sad. It's like, instead of trying to figure out ways to be innovative and to, kids who are at a disadvantage already, maybe because of how their home life is or how, because, in my family, I just think, what? Because education was extremely important to my parents, that was instilled in me, and it was instilled in my sister. We both did very well in school. Okay. It was a priority. And if you have to find a way where that doesn't happen in other families and families that are, sending kids to your school, then you've got to find some innovative ways to have somebody in their life that does make it a priority, where it does become important to kids. I think in my high school, I went to an inner city high school, even though I lived in the suburbs. I went to a school at the middle of downtown Omaha. And we had a very diverse school, both culturally, racially, and economically. Okay. But the kids on the lower end of the economic scale too, they also excel because they had a culture of school where this is the school where you go to excel. Now, granted, it is a public school, but it was just there was a culture there, and the kids who went there went there because they knew they wanted to, you know, achieve something bigger, go on to college or go on to something where they, you know, it was that kind of a school, and the whole school had that attitude, and all the kids, even the ones who maybe weren't as interested in school, still tried to live up to that standard. And again, it wasn't because you have a low standard, it's because you have a high standard, and everyone tries to reach that high standard. Again, shoot for the stars. If you fail, you still may be on the moon. And that's what, this is completely backwards to me. Completely backwards. I'm sorry. The only things that you should be able to, that everyone should be able to do coming out of high school is to have some sort of proficiency in reading, writing, and basic math. Those 3 skills are pretty much, because the reading part is also your language skills, you know, and the math part gets you through just basic financial transactions. And you should be proficient in those things. You know, I always laugh because I watch I watch cashiers these days, right? So when I was a bartender, you know, even when I was, before I became a Fridays bartender, but even before then, you know, I worked in oh, by the way, thank you, Cryptic, real quick for the super chat. And you still have time to sponsor the show. I'm going to be on for 15 more minutes, people. Cryptic with a deuce through super chat who says, hey, 2 + 2 = 5. Oh, yeah, exactly. Proficiency in meth. Yeah, that's what they're going to end up having. Instead of proficiency in math, they'll have proficiency in meth. They'll all be chemists, or at least chemistry testers. But again, why would you want to give a diploma to someone who didn't have that? That's to me is what a high school diploma is, that you can read, write, and do some basic math and get through life with those 3 things. And no matter what you do, whether you're in a trade, you know, whether you don't have to, it doesn't mean you have to have college level reading, writing, and math, but even if you're in a trade or whatever, you should be able to do that. I mean, as my example was, I laugh many times when I am buying something, you know, at a convenience store or at a bar or whatever, or at a restaurant, or, you know, like even fast food, and you give a kid nowadays a 20, and when they can't figure out what your change is without punching it into the register, you know what I mean? So for me, it was always, you always count it backwards. So if it's $13.36 and they give you a 20, well, you got to give them 4 cents to get to 40. You give another dime to get to 50. You give them another 2 quarters to get to $14, and then you count the other 6 to get to the 20. Okay, and I would just count it backwards. This makes 50. There's 14. 6 more makes 20. Kids can't do that these days. They have to punch it in the register and look at to see what the change is. And I can do the change in my head most of the time without even doing that. And it's just a different world. But look, in order to be able to even do that basic thing, to punch it into the thing, you got to be able to read the cash register, right? And you got to be able to count money. That's basic math. But they can't even do that. You know, I mean, your basic high school skills, if you end up working as an apprentice carpenter or framer or something like that, you got to be able to use a ruler. You got to be able to measure the framing, you know, the things you're making. You know, I suppose there's plenty of jobs where you don't need to. If you're a press operator, you got to know when, put your hands on 2 buttons and let the thing bend itself. If you put it in the machine right or whatever, or if you're unloading a truck, you just got to be able to put it on a belt. But this is crazy to me. This is absolutely crazy. It saddens me that, 1, someone wrote a law like that, and 2, that there's a governor who signed that bullshit. Unbelievable. All right, real quick, let me do a couple thank yous. Thank you, Angel Tibbs. Thank you, Somnambule Nation. And who's Zach? A monkey shit. And Tyler F. and Mitch the Ripper for tweeting the show out today. So my schedule this week on the morning, we might check to see if there's any breaking news. Oh God, yeah, there's breaking news. I'll tell you in a second. Just now breaking news, and then we'll be done probably here by the bottom at the half hour. We're going to finish up, so I've got about 10 minutes left. What was I going to say? Oh, my schedule this week. I'll probably have a few more shows at this time of day rather than in the morning, just because it's going to be that way for probably the next 4 weeks, where I will have afternoon shows rather than morning, except on the days that Lady Boomer is not working. She has certain days, like she works. Her schedule is weird. She works like 3 days one week, 5 days the next week, and it just varies. So. So just when you get notifications, look to see the time, because sometimes I'll put out the show. I'll set it up in the morning, but it'll still be for a 2:30 in the afternoon show. So just watch carefully when you see those notifications pop up. Plus, I will also put it on social media: Twitter, Minds, Gab, Parler, Getter, CloudHub, and I think that's all of them. So you can check there also. Real quick, there is breaking news. Carpenters do fractions in their head ridiculously fast. Yeah, exactly. They do. Because they do it all the time. And they, hello, LA Prepper. It had to pass the House and Senate first. That's even worse. Fucking hell. Yeah, in Oregon, yeah, they have a House and a Senate there, and it passed both. Speaking of things that it passed, I just saw this on Twitter, and this is... Oh boy, this will be interesting to see how this works out. The $1.2 trillion bipartisan infrastructure bill has passed the Senate. I'm pretty sure this is going to be something that had to pass so you can see what's in it. After months of negotiation, the Senate voted 60-39 to pass the $1.2 trillion bipartisan. It's funny. I love how Twitter presents things. Okay, they add this word bipartisan in there because they're propagandists, and Twitter Trends is complete propaganda, right? And so they'll be like, for example, I see that Tara Reid's trending right now. That's the person who accused the current president of some digitally, you know what I mean. She's trending right now, but something that'll disappear and something anti-Trump will show up because they'll just change it on Twitter. Well, I love how they describe this as the $1.2 trillion bipartisan infrastructure bill passed the Senate. Yeah, whatever. How about just this bill passes the Senate? After months of negotiation, the Senate voted 69-30 to pass the $1.2 trillion infrastructure plan. They included the word bipartisan in that sentence, but I skipped it, which includes $550 billion in new funding for transportation, broadband, and utilities. So of the $1.2 trillion, $550 billion are actually for infrastructure. I wonder what the rest of it's for. Lots of bullshit. And also, guess what? This is just the Senate version. Remember, the House version was $3.5 trillion. So when they go and have to reconcile this with the Senate bill, you're going to get, just hold your hind parts, because anything that you have in the bank right now is going to be worth a little bit less after this shit starts going down the pike. Anyway, 19 Republicans joined all 50 Democrats to pass the bill. The bill will now go to the House of Representatives. And then Representative Ed Case, who says our government just can't work, proving that wrong. Congrats to President Biden and the U.S. Senate for persevering through passage of this morning of the $1 trillion bipartisan infrastructure package. Now we can just Now we just can't blow it in the House. Oh, they will, because AOC and the squad has already said that they're like, nah, you don't have enough Green New Deal shit in this thing. Patty Murray, senator from Washington, everyone deserves and needs equal access to the internet to succeed. That's why I'm proud the infrastructure bill includes my Digital Equity Act. Digital equity? Again, you hear the word equity, run away. Putting us on the path toward universal broadband, helping cut costs while bridging the digital divide. Oh, she thinks this will help cut costs. Cut costs for who? If the government, if it's given to the government, it'll cost more, and then it'll cost you more in the end. So whatever, be right up your end. Dick Durbin's excited. The nation's transportation infrastructure is going to receive a massive overhaul thanks to the bipartisan infrastructure package passed by the Senate today. This is a big win for Illinoisans who have seen their commute times increase by an average of 7.3% since 2011. Oh, $550 billion for, there's $350 billion for highways, roads, and bridges. Well, that's going to piss off the Green New Deal people. Why would you have more money for highway, roads, and bridges when all those people driving their cars and buses and trucks and all that stuff is just putting more greenhouse gases into the air? You climate denying freaks. Anyway, $25 billion for airport modernization. Okay. $89 billion for public transit. Yay. I'm not going to be using that. $66 billion for rail improvements. Really? Rail. Okay, whatever. Anyway, some are glad, and I'm going to guess that in this highlight, so this is Twitter highlights, right? They'll only show the people who are praising it. I don't think they'll show anyone who's against it, because it's bipartisan. Yay. Here's what the Votorama is and what it means for the Democrats' $3.5 trillion with a T dollar budget resolution. Oh my God. Hank Johnson, look forward to it. Oh, good. Dean Obadiah. Fuck. Oh, he's going to be on Hank. Okay, this is absolutely the dumbest person in Congress. Hank Johnson. This is Hank will Guam capsize Johnson. Remember him? All these people are so excited. Yeah. Ted Cruz, though. Oh, they did mention Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz, Democrats' infrastructure bill is a gateway drug to more reckless spending. Well, thank you, Ted Cruz, for trying to save the country. Anyway, Lindsey Graham voted for it. Yay. And, there are a lot of people a lot of the Republicans who caved on this. Paid leave and childcare. What the fuck does paid leave and childcare have to do with infrastructure? Kirsten Gillibrand, paid leave and childcare just as important for working families as roads and bridges. Let's pass the Build Back Better budget resolution to give working families a chance to thrive. Fuck off. I'm not responsible for your kids, okay? I'm sorry. And if they want to have assistance for specifically super low income people, I'm almost fine with that if you stop creeping it up to everybody. For example, I remember when school lunch programs were for kids and families who couldn't afford school lunch. And in some districts now, school breakfast is just automatic for all the kids. There's a school in one of the wealthiest suburbs over here that has free breakfast for every kid who goes to school if they want it. I'm like, why? Their parents can afford the fucking breakfast. But but the government pays for it. And you know what? If the government pays for it, you have to use the money or you won't get it the next time. So oh my God. By the way, I have a new phrase. You know how some people say taxation is theft? Well, I'm going to change it. I might even make a t-shirt for this. No, taxation is not theft. It is absolutely not theft. Taxation is violence. Remember how they like to say everything is violence? Oh, that speech is violent. What did she say? Something about AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, the other day when she was talking about the moratorium on evictions, right? And she was talking to her little group of people who were camping out on the Capitol steps, and she goes, if they don't expand this moratorium on evictions, that is violence. Hey, hey, AOC, taxation is violence, right? Because taxation, if you don't pay your taxes, by the threat of a gun, they will make you pay your taxes, or by the threat of prison, which is a violent place. So taxation is violence. In fact, here, I'm moving right here. Hashtag taxation is violence. In fact, I'm going to put that on Twitter. Watch this. Let's see if this happens. Let's see if anyone reacts to this. I'll report back on this one tomorrow. Taxation is violence. See how this one goes over. Oh, I might get some shit for this. Anyway, so gird your loins. Oh, here, listen, Ilhan Omar. Here, hang on. We'll finish up with the congressman from my lovely state. Not my congressional district, but she is from my state. We said what we said. Progressive Caucus says, our caucus has been clear. Congress must invest in infrastructure that takes on the climate crisis and meets the needs of working families. CPC members won't support a bipartisan bill without a bold reconciliation bill to advance our priorities. Oh, let's look at this thread. A recent survey of our members, the consensus came through loud and clear. A narrow infrastructure package that doesn't address the scope of the climate crisis, invest in care work, tackle homelessness, expand Medicare, and include immigrants will not have our support. Guess what? None of that is infrastructure. You can write another bill and try to get that through on your own. Biatch. I'm sorry, did I say that out loud? We look forward to considering the bipartisan infrastructure bill once the Senate has passed a reconciliation package to fund the rest of the jobs and families plan, not infrastructure. Any attempt to move without the other won't have our caucus's votes. Good. Fail this entire bill. Let's just let the local governments take care of their own infrastructure. How's that sound? Local problems, local solutions. Kiss my big black ass. Okay, and on that note, I'm gonna end this show for today. The Morning Night Live is brought to you by you, the viewers of the Morning Night Live. Please, even though the stream's over, share the stream. Please put a like on the like button. Although I have 42 likes and only 28 people left, so that's cool. And I'm gonna have a big push for response to the show because I got a big truck bill to take care of, and that'll help in any way. And so if you're entertained, and if you have a couple bucks, throw them in the tip jar every once in a while. Not today. That's cool. I'm just like, if you're able to, and if you're not able to, that is fine too. This show is free. Always, okay? I appreciate those who are able to. Thank you, Crypto, for sponsoring the show today. And those of you who sponsor the show periodically, I recognize everybody in my outro every time I change it. So thank you for all the people who've been able to sponsor the show. And otherwise, if you can't, just enjoy the show. You know what? You help me just as much by being in the chat, by putting comments in the comment section. Apparently that's kind of the big algorithm thing right now. Is the comment section. I don't know why. And then and just sharing the stream. That's fantastic. If you're not able to sponsor the show in other ways, then do it that way, and that is just as good for me. I appreciate all of you for joining me when you can. I know that I have weird hours sometimes, and especially the morning's tough for a lot of people, and that's why it helps a lot when you share the stream out, because that's pretty much the only way new people find out about it. YouTube really doesn't promote channels this tiny. Let's just put it that way. It's and I understand that, this is a tiny channel, and it'll grow like it has been, slow but steady for a long time, and we'll just keep plugging away. But you guys have been a great help, and I appreciate all of you. Thank you for being here today. Tomorrow will probably be also at 2:30 in the afternoon rather than 9 in the morning. That's my central time. So I'll have that out on the social media, and when I set up the show, you'll see the notification. So thank you again. I appreciate all of you. Gotta go. My name is PDawgKnight, and I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Hey, this is PDawgKnight, and thank you for watching today on the PDawgKnight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cashapp, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm PDawgKnight, and I'm out of here.